So, welcome back to the last and most important talk for today, because it's the evening lecture. I'm very proud to have Stefan Moser here, and I don't talk a lot about what he will show us in the evening lecture. Just yesterday we had to bring science and society together. Today we have something of our daily business, how to present, and as I know Stefan, he will show us some alternatives we may be not familiar with, and I hope to enjoy your talk. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Thomas. I'm happy to be here. We'll have a nice presentation today, which might be a little bit different of what you have seen before. So some of you might have seen this thing in here. So if you could use your smartphone just to scan the QR code, and then you can vote for 5 adjectives which you connect to a good presentation or a good workshop. So just take your time, 1 minute must be enough. Everything else will be beside my timer. So, my timer. Because you want to eat something later on. So then you're here. I see 70 people have already joined, 19, perfect. I can see the results. So what will happen is something is online. Every time something is online and something is showing up and has some kind of dynamic, people are, oh yeah, I see something, this is cool, there is something different. They move their heads, they want to get all the things in here. And this is really cool to make a starter. I do it because my topic tonight is about connecting people to this kind of presentation. And how do I connect people? I let them show me what they are up to. So, what is my presentation up? I'm a trainer. So, but when I do a presentation like this, I give it some thought before, and I ask me these questions. So, first of all is, what do I have to present? This is very important for me. And this what is only one part. Most of you think probably it's the main part, but it isn't, because the audience who I'm presenting to are these nerds, scientists, marketing people, whatever, different perspectives. When is a presentation? At night, after you have seen a whole set of presentation, pretty into science, pretty deep, and totally tiring out you. So it's another part. So it can't be like this, no stats, no graphics like this. So, and then why? Why I'm doing this? Because I want to have some fun. That's just for me, and I like this kind of presentation. So I did it here, and Thomas asked me, said, would you like to do this besides your normal stuff? I said, yes, of course I would. So then there is a how. Of course there's a how. I can do it boring, or I can do it in another way. Then maybe I have some audience which are not familiar with my style and said, oh, I don't know what he's up to. And maybe we need to some troubleshooting right on the way, so I need to be prepared. So most presentations do start like this. And then, of course, the people say, yeah, agenda. So they read agenda and they see, oh, there's a nice logo on top. Yeah, most time the logo stays on the whole slides and consumes some space you can use for presentation. Same as agenda, because anybody knows anyway, this is an agenda. I don't have to mark it out. And there's some super confidential stuff and dates and who is doing it. And okay, it's in the program that I'm Stefan Moser. Nobody needs to introduce me because everybody can read it. And by now you probably have read the red text. And that gives you an information about how many sentences, how many words should be on a slide. And by now you can get an impression maybe like this. So it's not as what you have expected maybe. And the thing is, can we do it in a better way? Can we do it somehow different that people won't get bored this much? And I think yes. A presentation, it depends on what you want to bring to the people, what you want to have the people as a takeaway. A presentation needs a making of. In my world, the making of can be like a movie or can be like a cartoon or whatever. So for me, it's very important that I find a way to connect to the people. Of course, connecting to the people means that I have some dramaturgy in my presentation. And as you can see here, there must be some topic which is from interest so that people wake up and say, oh, something here, let's give it a look. And in the end, there should be something as well which might make you remember the stuff. But then there is something on top. What are my main interests in this presentation? And from there, maybe I can go to key topics and then to details. Though my thing is, how can I connect you to my topic? This is the first and most important point of the whole presentation, connect the people. Then probably there's some concept you want to introduce to your audience. And of course, sometimes if it's a training or a workshop, people tend to contribute. They ask questions, they do something interactive stuff, and in the end, it turns out that there should be a conclusion in the end, a takeaway. So from this point, I have now my main core areas defined. Then I need to fill the presentation with some stuff. For me, it was this. Started right away on Saturday morning, said, what could I put into this presentation? I had lots of good ideas. And during I had a walk outside, I had even more ideas. The problem is, I don't have enough time. So I had to kill or cross out 70% of my presentation. Otherwise, I would be in a rush and in a hurry. That wouldn't work. The thing is, how could I connect you? Maybe with this very nice agenda again. No logo, no stuff on the bottom line like super confidential or whatever, no graphics outside, and still boring. Do you agree? Still boring? Okay, so maybe we can do it a little bit different. And that was my thing, an experiment. I never done, so said maybe give it the first time and make an experiment. How can we get a good agenda, which the people see as a good agenda, because it's inviting, it's connecting to the people. So first of all, this is still boring, isn't it? But with a few strokes like this, and we did some more in here. And this. See, makes it a little bit nicer, huh? So we can have some points in here. Why don't we make points? Sometimes people read the words, but with the words on its own, it's not really fun. So how can we do it a little bit more interactive? So this is a group, and this group interacts with this guy, maybe me, and then we see, hey, there's a connection. Next thing, how can we visualize the concept? Maybe we have a nail and we have a hammer in here. This guy has this hammer in his hand, and now he's standing here, and we understand concept. Nail, hammer, easy to understand. Of course, maybe my presentation might be too long, so whatever, we can make it a little bit different, because we need some coffee break in here. So why don't just put it this way? I could write down coffee break, but again, it would be maybe boring. So how could you contribute? There could be also a thing where you say, let's do a mind map here, and then we have some interacting groups. And there's another group. And there's another group. So, and this group interact. So we have the interaction. And in the very end, maybe we'll have a checklist. And maybe the checklist is inside a binder. And we'll have some check marks over here because we already did some things. So it's nice. If you give it then a little bit of a color, then you would be much more different than all your colleagues. Nobody uses colors. I don't know why, but colors are nice. So why not make it like this? And the points starting to live. We can make this people. We can give them a little bit more here, a little bit of color. And you see how it's awesome. We can highlight what he is doing and what's important. Yeah. So again, color. If we have some more color, then we can point out that these groups are different from each other. And maybe third color. So why not? And here we can have some check marks. Now, by now, you might have experienced that my drawing is not way apart from an artist, but everybody can understand what I have drawn. This is very important because when it's too nice, people say, oh, he just want to show off how good he can here draw things. But no, that's not important. If you come into the room, imagine you step into in the room and see this kind of an agenda, it's inviting. But there is something missing. Hardcore missing. And the whole conference needs a frame. So just give it a frame. See, it's easy. One can make a draw a line just by having a finger in here and putting it here as well. So if you think this is not highlighted enough, maybe we have some highlights here on top and give it some shining here. Huh? Okay. The whole set needs a frame. And if you put the frame in here and in the wax block to make it like here, then we'll see a frame is something nice. So people understand the concept of this agenda. This is part of the presentation. And when you want to do it like a good one, a real nice stuff, then why don't give it some more color? It depends on your audience. But don't you see, this looks a little bit nicer than only plain white? And ready. Under 5 minutes. It's okay, huh? Nice or not nice? Fingers up. Perfect. Thank you very much. So the thing is, everybody would now say, I can't even draw like this. Who cares? You have all the time you need. Do you see this nice pen here? It's a very bright yellow. If you draw the lines in yellow on here, nobody will notice it. I draw them with a little pencil, small lines, nobody notices it, and you can do it on the fly. It depends on what are you presenting. So others could look like this because this had some more dynamic. And now if everybody from you should write down, what did he meant by his agenda? So it would be easy. You see the symbols, you see the text, and the combination of symbols and text gives you a whole story. And the arrows give it some dynamic. So it's nice to see. It's also inviting. Nobody needs to draw agenda above it. Or when will it take place? Because it will take place when it is, when the time is right. When I do a workshop, I do things like this. I draw by hand and then I make a picture and put the picture on the slides. Don't have to take all the stuff with me. It's very nice. And then I asked the people, what do you expect from my lecture? Mostly students. They don't expect a lot, but I give the course as well in the industry. They expect more. So I have, for instance, some post-its on my screen or on my poster. And then I'm connected to the people and what they expect from me. And later on, when we're finished, I'm like, then we'll see some of the expectations are fulfilled and some not. I can do it together with the people, say, what did I cover and which did I not cover, or only to a certain degree. So I still have the chance to get the curve and add some explanation on top, that everybody is invited to use the training I wanted to give them. Sometimes, most times, I give DOE courses, Design of Experiments. And in Design of Experiments, one could use a post-it to show where we are in the course. And it would be really nice if we could have a sticker like this, isn't it? To post out where we are at present. At present, we are here, or at this arrow. And now, magic, huh? Isn't it cool? Did you know it? This kind of stuff, it's electrostatic. So, and even with an arrow on it, it works fine. And we're at this topic, we have to discuss histograms now. Not really. This is also a nice thing to guide somebody to a workshop or a presentation. So there could be an agenda and the slides could be behind me. So using different stuff helps the people to be a bit more interactive and to move a little bit, not sitting around the whole day. You can say, yeah, but my stuff is much more complicated. Probably it is. Most of the stuff I don't understand because I'm an engineer, no chemist or biochemist, and most time I do stats. So you might be right. But if you would again be invited to explain what's on the picture, which is part of design thinking workshop, and you can instantly grab the idea of the stuff behind. And the thing is, actually, if you explain it, it will consume much more time than to combine pictures with text. And that was a great thing to first give my students an idea what we're up to. Second, understand and grab the holistic idea behind it. And third, take the picture with them away to remember the stuff. You might say, yes, but my stuff and so on. Then you can still continue presentation with much too much information and a little thing in here. We are now here. I wouldn't do it. See, my laser pointer is much bigger than yours. Here it comes. So this could be a thing that even on the big screen, you can work with it. But imagine we could highlight a thing. So going with a loop over something, that now we're concentrating on this one, or really highlight. Wouldn't that be magic? It's Logitech, it's the presenter, it's new stuff. So again, one can use a hand-drawn slide, use equipment up to date to be a little bit different than the rest. And that's all you need to be more in the focus. Of course, one could use it as an electronic drawn picture, but I think it doesn't have the charm of hand-drawn stuff. So Thomas knows me a little bit, and he told me he had shown you one of these graphics, a part of it, and said, yeah, again, it's electronically drawn, but you see the chalkboard behind. It gives it some charm. You have the chance to fill out the stuff with a little bit more dynamic. What you see is that hopefully it's electrons or ions which are flying dynamically around, and you see the lines. That gives the picture a certain dynamic. And it's much more easy to understand and to grab and to see with fun and motivation than if you had the old school pictures where there's no dynamic inside. And if you had to give a speak on that, I was on the conference, on the Torres conference for multi-round data analysis and DOE, and had to give a speak about mass spectroscopy. I was the statistic guy behind it, and I had to explain some of the people how principal component works. So I covered the stuff that I made up on PowerPoint, free forms, and I covered the stuff, and by the time I needed, I took the cover away. So I did it the opposite way than normal. And it was refreshing for the people after having a whole day of conferences. Again, people might say, yes, but in my world, we need facts. We need really good diagrams. Yeah, of course, you can combine this. So if I explain to you that I had a lot of spectra and they need to be compressed to one dot in order to see it on a multi-band data analysis score plot, then everybody grabbed the idea. And this is safe. Nobody can neglect that there was a nice thing to compress it. Just an idea. So the last thing is my cooking recipe for design of experiments. And inside the course, I can talk for a week, it's no problem. But after 3 days, the people are totally tired out. So I had a poster like this. It's big. It's 1.50 meters or 1.20 meters. And I've drawn all the little things. And it gives the people the cooking recipe. And to connect the people need to contribute to come to a conclusion. And during the whole course, either it's online or in the presence course, I can use this kind of poster. If it's online, I use Miro, and it's completely the same way like it is used. And then I tell the people, hey, they get a little ball from me, like this. And I just throw it to the audience and say, you have the ball. You have the balls. And then I tell them, go in front of my poster and tell me what is up to this little drawing. And then he repeats with his words all the stuff I tried to bring into his head in 3 days. And then if he can't do it, then he can't do it. It's not a problem. Then, of course, he could ask somebody, can somebody help me out? I won't do it. Because I tried it a couple of times, and if he didn't understand it with my words, maybe he understands it with words of his colleagues. So they jump in and explain to him whatever is needed. And now we're up to shortly before the dinner. And before this, we need to stand up. We really need to stand up. Please stand up, because we have to come to a conclusion. So what is the presentation about? What is the first thing? I learned this from Markus Hoffmann, who is a super memory guy, and he explained it to me. We need to connect the stuff to certain elements of our bodies. So he said, first thing are our feet. They can only walk into one direction if we have a goal. Though the goal is the most important thing for our presentation. We need a first step, and this first step is connected to our knees. Again, the goals was with the feet. The first proactive step was with the knees. I have 2 things already learned. Then, sometimes it's the end of the presentation which is more important than the start. So we can tattoo softly alpha and omega on our legs, to remember that sometimes it's better to start with the end and break it down to the beginning, where to start. Goals, proactive, alpha, omega, start there. Then 3 things one can remember, yes. So Marcus told me, people tend to remember things a little bit better when you connect it either to sexual stuff or to pain? I hope you don't mind. I go for the pain. When you have visited an old church or an old castle, then you might have seen these huge locks at the door. You remember? Keys like this. And if you use this key and hide it and twist it, then you will have a lot of pain. And these are the key elements of your presentation. I swear, if you try this once, you never forget. The next thing is, we need to recapitulate what we have already done. So it's goals, feet, proactive, knees, alpha, omega, the end for the beginning, key topics, and then we need a win-win situation. If your audience doesn't feel that your presentation brings something to them, then they don't remember it. They don't save it. They have no chance to put it in their brains and their memory. So then there's a critical point, maybe because the presenter, like me, likes to talk and never stops and likes the frontal stuff. But if we have a workshop, sometimes I need to be silent, to be quiet. Because every time I speak, I tell you something I already know. But inside a workshop, maybe it's more important what the audience, what the people, the participants tell me. So I need to listen. So you have to adjust the proportion of your talk to what the people can talk and tell you important stuff. The second to last is synergism. So when you tell the people something which can the people tell to somebody else and will help them to fulfill their job and mine. So it's not only win-win, they can even do it better after they know or get known the right tools. So it's synergetic and they still can ask and learn again and again from it in the group and so on. So synergism is a real important thing to share the knowledge we have. And then goals, proactive, alpha omega, key topics, win-win, listen more than to speak, synergism, we need something to make it sustainable, and this will only work when we're able to see new things, to sharpen the saw. Remember this picture, might be some additional pain, to sharpen the knowledge for some new tools. And now you might wonder why you're standing around here doing nothing. Please explain to your neighbor what you have learned yet. Feet, knees, alpha, omega. Share the knowledge with your neighbor. You can have fun even without me. But the last thing is, who remembered 8 things? Who remembered 7 things? Just give me signs. Who remembered only 3 things? Only 3? Who remembered 8 things? Hands up. 7? 6? Okay, it was my fault. Maybe I should do it again next time when I'm here. The last thing is, we can use this code again. And now we'll see some answers certain people have done by now. Was it interesting? Did you learn something? Maybe I could convince you next time for your next presentation to draw something, to make it a little bit more interactive. And the last point, of course, what is the right presentation to call it a day, to end this session for today, and to reach out for dinner. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you had some fun on the way, and have a nice meal.